is breaking news from KSL.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are tracking some big breaking news at this hour. We have word that the final green light has been given for an NHL team to come right here to Utah. That team is the Arizona Coyotes, with Utah Jazz owner Ryan Smith set to pay more than $1 billion to bring this team here to the Beehive State. Just now, the NHL Board of Governors met to discuss this deal. Sam Farnsworth from KSL Sports joins us live in Phoenix with this big news right now. Sam, what do we know? This is exciting.
Yeah, it's very exciting for Utah sports fans for sure. It's a bit of a somber and sad time for Arizona sports fans. But yeah, we now have an NHL franchise officially, as the Board of Governors of the NHL, the owners of all the other NHL teams, have approved the sale of the Arizona Coyotes from Alex Murillo to Ryan and Ashley Smith of the Smith Entertainment Group, which means that the NHL hockey season will officially begin this fall, the 24-25 season in Salt Lake City, with a brand new franchise. It is this Coyotes team that's all moving there, but the official Coyotes name and team is officially rendered inactive. Alex Murillo still owns the rights to that team name, where if one day the NHL decides that he is fit to have an expansion team here, if they are able to work things out in Arizona, the Arizona Coyotes name could return here to Arizona. But for now, this team is all moving to Salt Lake City with Ryan and Ashley Smith. It is a brand new era of professional sports in Utah as the NHL is landing in Utah.
Hey, Sam, a quick question for you here. You've been able to track some of the reaction from players down there. I've seen a little bit of it online. What has that reaction been like from the players who, you know, we want to welcome here to the Beehive State?
Yeah, it's really interesting because there's kind of three sides of the story. You have the fan reaction, you have the reaction from employees of the team, and those are two very different reactions. The players themselves, their reactions have been a mix of they feel for their fans here that have cheered them on for so many years here in Arizona. They really feel for them, and they've got ties here to the Arizona community. But every player I talk to, they're excited about going to a city that they say the fans are ready to welcome them. They're excited about an ownership group that has a plan laid out in front of them, so they know that that there's a plan for growth and a good NHL arena to play in, and they're just excited for the opportunity to go to a city, a market where the NHL has never been before, because they talk about the impact that the NHL has had on markets that it's been in before and the growth of the sport that comes along with an NHL franchise. They can't wait to plant those roots in Salt Lake City as well. And it's a very young roster, Shara. These guys are poised to be a playoff team here in the next year or two. They've got a lot of draft assets, so this is really an opportunity for the NHL, for this franchise that Ryan Smith now owns, to, they're like I said, they're just in a great spot to contend just within the next year or two. So it's a young group that's ready to play, and they're very excited to do so in front of a Salt Lake City crowd, a Utah fan base.
I'll tell you what, we know how to support professional teams here in Utah. That's for sure. Hey, let me ask you this. Do you know much about this vote when it came to the Board of Governors? So I understand, I've seen a report that the deal, $1.2 billion, is what Ryan Smith will end up handling here. But tell me more about this vote. Was it a long process? Did they come in there? Did they just wrap that up quickly? What do you know?
Well, it's the conference call started at 1 o'clock Mountain Time, so it took a little over a half an hour, I think, for them to come to the conclusion. Basically, the process was that the NHL was walking the Board of Governors through the whole process of this transition, how the sale was going to happen, what was going to happen with the Coyotes name and franchise with Alex Murillo here, what Ryan Smith and Ashley Smith were going to be inheriting and purchasing, and so they walked them through all of those plans, and then they had an official vote to approve the addition of Ryan and Ashley Smith as governors within the NHL as well, and as new owners to an NHL franchise. And so, yeah, there was a lot of questions that had to be asked. But again, the NHL, they kind of ran out of patience with what had been happening here in Arizona. They've given it time and time again, given it many opportunities to resolve the issues that they've had with their arena. It hasn't happened. So they've really been ready to kind of move in this direction once all the pieces fell into place, and once Ryan Smith vocalized that he wanted NHL in Utah, those pieces started to fall into place really quickly.
All right, Sam, last question for you here. How quickly are we going to see these Coyotes here in Utah? I mean, this has got to be a quick move, I understand.
Yeah, within the week, as I've heard varying reports, but within the week, some of these players, if not most of them, will have at least made their first visit to Utah to at least get a lay of the land, because this is their off season now. This is when they tend to take a vacation or take a break from things for a little bit before they get back to camp. Some of these players will be reporting to the Tucson Roadrunners, the minor league team, where they will finish out the AHL season, the playoffs with that team, because some of these players are young and they're still developing. So some of those guys are going directly to Tucson, but a lot of the team within the week, they'll be in Utah, at least getting a lay of the land.
Yeah, that vacation got replaced by moving up here to Utah. So we will do our best to welcome them and make them feel like this is their new home for sure. Sam, this is exciting news. Thank you for joining us live down in Phoenix. A lot to cover here with this big move. Officially here, Utah, we have an NHL team. Stick with KSL as we continue to track this exciting announcement. You can get push updates with your new, with any new developments with our free KSL Plus app. We'll also have continued team coverage on the air and online at KSLTV.com. Our on-air coverage will continue coming up on KSL 5 News at 4, but right now we'll return you to your scheduled programming.